definitely keep it to within the hour. So like no more than 45 minutes, but like I'd love to keep it to more like 30, not put
Perfect.
everybody completely to sleep. Like listen to my 3 hour B2B podcast, everyone.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Attention
Okay.
spans.
All right. Let me just do my little intro read. Hey, everybody, welcome to the U of Digital AI Edge podcast. We are here to help marketing professionals stay at the cutting edge of AI news and its impact on marketing and advertising. I am your host, Myles Younger. Shiv is off today, I think, taking a vacation with his kids. But today is a very special episode. We have two guests from Marketecture Media, both co-founders at Marketecture Media. We have Jeremy Bloom, CEO, and Sam Khoury, Chief Strategy Officer. Jeremy, you want to introduce yourself, say a few words about yourself?
Oh, hello. Nice to see you, Myles. Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
sure.
I am a 45-year-old father and husband. I live in I'm Chicago-based, live in the Chicagoland area. I've been in advertising marketing tech since 2002. So I'm not quite a boomer, but I'm not Gen Z. The three of us are all technically Zennials or the Oregon Trail era. And we're having a fun time building both Marketecture Media, and then on the side, I'm building ohhello.ai, and we're excited to be here with you guys. We appreciate the partnership.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I prefer geriatric millennial because I think, Jeremy, you and I are only a few months apart in age, and the way I
Yeah, we talked
describe
about
myself
this.
is virtually identical. Sam, tell us about
Yeah.
yourself.
As the youngest one on this podcast, I'm happy to be here. Chief Strategy Officer at Marketecture, really focused on content aspects of the company and where we're going in terms of expanding that. I come from a freewheel T-Mobile background, mostly working in connected television. Love AI, love creativity, love content. So super happy to be here. Thanks for having us, Myles.
Of course, of course. This is going to be a lot of fun.
With a PH or an F
Ooh, how about both? How about
or a
both?
PF. Yeah.
Yeah, just all the different funds. So what I want to do is we're going to talk about a little bit of recent news in the advertising and marketing industry, and then I want to pivot over and talk a lot about Marketecture Media and your upcoming event, Marketecture Live. But first, I want to make sure to plug for our listeners, U of Digital Zone event. Our next AI Bootcamp, AI Accelerator is coming up on March 9th. Go to uof.digital/accelerator and sign up, and there's an early bird discount if you go fast. Guys, let's talk a little bit about the news. This will be even a little bit more stale by the time this episode comes out on Monday, but I do want to talk about it because I want to get your takes on the Super Bowl sort of backlash. Now, this is even dumber. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl, guys. I didn't watch any of the game. I was doing chores all day. I'm not an NFL person, but I kept hearing a lot
Culture
of.
moment.
I know. I'm
Okay.
such a Grinch when it comes to the Super Bowl. I have like less than zero interest in it. But I'm reading like all week, everybody's like takes on these ads, and I'm like, man, they sound like really bad ads. And so I went and I watched the Svedka vodka one. It was like really bad. Dancing robots. I was like, this thing looks like it's like 15 years out of date, made for an overseas market. Like, it just feels really
So
dated. I,
Svedka.
I, yeah, Ghost Spec. I heard about there was a Ring ad, I guess, that there was a lot of backlash towards about looking for dogs, and so I went
We're
to
watching you.
YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, so I go to YouTube and I search for Ring Super Bowl ad, and guess what? The first result is a parody of that ad. So you don't even get the
Amazing.
ad, you just get the backlash parody of it. And so I wanted to get your guys' takes. You watched the game. Were the ads as bad as everybody said they were?
I'll hop in first for this one. I watched the full game. I was an advertising major at the University of Illinois. I'm fascinated with how advertising affects the human mind, the psychology behind it, and how consumerism and behaviorism identifies with pop culture movements.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, this was a really crappy year for advertising during the Super Bowl. I'll give a couple spicy takes, and we did not have any of this rehearsed, but I even posted right after the game. I thought that the Coinbase ad was terrible. The reason I say that,
Yes.
some people firmly disagree with me. Now we're talking about it. So from an earned media perspective, they crushed it with earned media. They crushed it with everyone talking about it. But I don't think of Coinbase when I listen to Backstreet Boys or when I'm singing in unison with my friends and their kids at a Super Bowl party. Uh, it was kitschy and it was an intelligent way to infuse a global audience, but Coinbase has had a really rough month or so. Actually, a rough 5 years. But besides for that, I, I think that they could have done a lot of other things and put that kind of money into the Super Bowl. The next, hey, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say that, but when you have all the ad professionals like harping about the earned media, oh, but what about the earned media? But what about the earned media? It's like maybe it wasn't a very
Yeah.
good ad. Anyway, go ahead, Jeremy.
I think they tried the Tubi aspect. Like, remember the QR code bouncing up and down? That
Hmm.
was like great. And everybody's like, what the heck's going on? And everybody pulled out their phones and they scan it. They wanted to sing along. It didn't resonate. Like, unless you're totally blitzed on a bunch of Budweiser beer, like, you're not going to sing along to the screen. I just don't think it worked for me. I watched it. I was like, what is going on? This looks like some 20-year-old, maybe even less, 10-year-old kid made it on PowerPoint. And then I just didn't understand it until the very end. And it didn't rhyme,
That's
was the
bad.
other part.
That's not good.
So like I was reading it and I'm like, it doesn't even rhyme. Like, it was totally out of cue. But some of the ads were good. I mean, I think Manscaped was pretty funny. And then I Googled the backstage stuff and it was all animated little balls of hair, which I thought was cool. Duncan was pretty good, like kind of like a little reminiscent of old school shows, but generally not a great year, in my opinion.
Yeah, Duncan was. There were so many cameos. It was almost
Yeah.
overwhelming how many cameos they had. Where yeah, they did a good job. I agree as a consumer of Duncan and as a fan of most of their branding. I absolutely loved years ago when Duncan had when they collaborated with Nike and created a Duncan Nike shoe. To me, that was baller. That was years ago. But what made the biggest impact on me was the men's health, the essentially prostate awareness, like men's cancer, getting screenings, just having my own father, my grandfather, several close friends that have had prostate cancer, having all the different tight ends over the years that are well respected athletes, the tongue in cheek and talking about men's health during the Super Bowl when it's such
Hmm.
a manly type activity, but really for the masses when you're watching with your kids and you're watching with your sig others, and it's um, that was the heart pulled at the strings of my heart, that
Yeah.
particular spot.
I would say Duncan worked. Um,
As you're drinking a
I
Starbucks,
converted.
Oh,
Um, the,
yeah,
it
logo
yeah.
out, Sam. Logo out there.
Was the logo not out?
Oh, no,
The
it was
logo's
out. I
out.
just like you're
It
very
was out. Yeah,
mindful about the
intentionally. I was turning it around on camera.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of AI talk, and I think somebody published the fact that it was something like 20 mentions of AI, which is interesting because I think the term itself and the functionality is like super cool. But I just don't know if we've all hit like AI fatigue mode when it comes
Sure.
to just hearing that as a sales
Yeah.
pitch or as a product benefit.
Yeah.
But I
Or
think generally
or just an
nothing
everyday.
resonated,
e-
or every day. Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Miles,
I was
what
just
were
gonna
your
say,
takes?
or maybe everyday people just don't care about AI as much as like I
Bingo.
That
my
too.
my my my
Yeah.
diagnosis from afar, based on everything that I was hearing, is I was like, have we reached a point, hopefully temporarily in the ad industry, this would be on the client side and on the agency side, where there's like a deficit of people who know what good looks like. I watched that Svedka ad. I'm like, how did this thing get aired on the soup? Like, did no one in the food chain just shut it down? Of like, guys, it's a bad ad. Like, go back, redo it. This is not good. And it just feels like everybody's reactions were like, yeah, these are just bad ads. And I'm like, nobody caught that in the process?
Well, I mean, you remember the Coca-Cola commercial with all the trucks, with all the semi trucks,
Yeah,
and remember that, right? That was like, oh my God, fully AI created
yeah,
ad, and then you found out that
Holiday
some
campaign.
cars had like 8 wheels and other ones had 22 wheels, and the wheel alignment was off, and the same truck looked different at different angles. And it's like, how are you releasing this as a major brand? Like, use AI, but just spot check it.
I think they've reduced the number of like little glitches in because they redid it for this holiday season. There are now two AI ads in to their, whatever
Okay.
trilogy that they're going to produce. Jeremy, you're going to say something.
I was simply going to say, from an AI perspective, there was a lot about AI, and when you're talking to other people that are outside the majority of people in American civilization, and obviously this gets the Super Bowl is a global both movement and moment.
Hmm.
Many people don't care about AI, and they're using just ChatGPT occasionally is a way for a new fun way for search. Or those that use Google, which are most of us and have used Google for a long time, now they understand that you can use some form of AI through Gemini. But so I appreciated the Claude ad. I appreciated the wink, wink, the nod to those that understand the difference between what
Yes, the
Anthropic.
Claude ad. We have to talk about the Claude ad.
Yeah, this is an AI based podcast, so uh, the Claude ad. I appreciated the wink, wink, but I was sitting there with friends in close friends that have completely different professional backgrounds and careers than the three of us and most of
Hmm.
your audience.
Yeah.
And one of them understood, and the others like, I don't get it. And so, like, it was a wink, wink. I do think it was a good positioning for Anthropic long term. For those that are already aware of where Anthropic sits versus where OpenAI sits versus many others. But yeah, it was clever, but and then the last component just to hit on what Sam was saying a few minutes ago, there were a lot of AI ads, period. And
Hmm.
so it's a movement, and in the grand scheme of things, AI is here to stick. A lot of people just don't understand what it is or how it's going to impact them long term, and that's
Hmm.
for a much longer conversation.
And I think, like, generally, sorry, I'm jumping in, but like, I think generally AI is powerful. It's changing a lot. It's beneficial to all aspects of business, but the echo chamber is the echo chamber, and the echo chamber doesn't necessarily apply to the guy sitting down watching a football game.
Right.
And
Right.
like, they have to come to the realization that, like, know your audience. And I think that maybe a percentage of the people who watch the Super Bowl are the audience. But for everybody else, it's going to go right over their head. They don't care. It's a total waste of all the money that you spent. You could have done much better targeted ads on
Yeah.
digital than running
Yeah, I
the
mean,
Super Bowl.
it
That's how
it
I see
feels
it.
like maybe, yeah, just another symptom of like, a particular class of people, the three of us kind of
Yeah.
included, of being terminally online. Of like,
Yes.
guys,
Yeah.
your echo chamber is not reflective of anybody else's reality or emotional
Totally.
state or desires or feelings. So I want to do a rewind segue. If we can rewind a minute, then would make a good segue from the
Sure, let's do it.
Coca-Cola ad around like AI videos, so producing entire commercials, entire films, TV shows, etc. with AI. There was a new video model released a couple of days ago. At least for me, it was making some noise on Twitter/X, called C Dance 2.0. I don't know if any of our listeners happen to catch. There was like a video of like Will Smith fighting a spaghetti monster, and it looked very much in the same vein or production quality as like a Men in Black movie, and I mean that in a good way. Like, it just, okay, yeah, I'm watching if a Men in Black movie had a spaghetti monster fighting Will Smith, that's what I'm watching right now. But apparently, this is all completely fake. I think there was another video that came out with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fighting. So somebody came up with sort of a-list Hollywood mashup of like, oh, these guys have never fought on screen. I'm gonna make them fight on screen. Which of course, once again, it's kicked up the dust storm of predictions around the collapse of Hollywood or the collapse of all kinds of things that apparently now, because we can produce Hollywood level stuff with AI, that's going to completely upend the entertainment industry. And I have my own thoughts on this. But Sam and Jeremy, I would love to hear what you think. This has been going on for like
You want to
at
go
least a
first,
year or
Jeremy?
two now.
Yeah, I'll hit on a couple knee-jerk reactions. One, I just want to make sure that the spaghetti monster wasn't Tommy Lee Jones. Can you verify that? Because here you were talking about a Men in Black
I mean,
reference,
well,
and
this is AI, Jeremy. If I want to go back and reprompt and say, hey, you know what? Could we make the spaghetti monster resemble Tommy Lee Jones? You got it.
so that went through my head. And also, a little known fact: Tommy Lee Jones and Al Gore were college roommates, and so maybe Al Gore, through climate change, is the puppeteer of all of this.
The AI
Sort of a
conspiracy
Yeah,
theory.
it's a conspiratorial 6 degrees of Al Gore. I like it. This
Yep,
needs to be
yep.
its own mini-series podcast.
Yeah. That we're going to license it through both U of D and Marketecture Media as a collab. We're excited for the 8 listeners globally that will partake. Sam, jump in.
Yeah. So yeah, do I think it's a threat to Hollywood in some aspects? Sure. I mean, if you recall any type of movies 10, 15 years ago, including things like Avatar, and I don't know if you recall how long it took to create the film Avatar, but I believe it was something like 7 years or 6 years to create a movie of that quality and that much
Watching it feels like a
animation.
7 year long
And
movie.
yeah, and then you look now and like you could potentially create this without actors, without locations, without massive staff. It's a bunch of people sitting behind computers writing prompts and making adjustments. Is there a threat? Sure. Maybe to the animated aspect of things, sure. I just don't know if it's going to actually remove the allure of the celebrity and the movie celebrity, which I think is a big driver of why people go watch a movie. I think it'll just improve production times, increase the creativity you can do in terms of the time. But I don't think it's going to get rid of the fact that this actor or actress is like a big shot and we want to go watch them in the movie. But yeah, I think it's going to speed up production.
I
Speed
see.
up the production of bad Super Bowl ads? We can only hope.
Sure.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Who
faster.
drinks Svedka anyways? Hey, Svedka, if you want to pop on the brand forum, reach out.
Yeah.
So the thing that was going through my head, Myles, specifically, was the infringement, the legalities that come
Yep.
with this. And about 2 years ago, it could have been a little bit less, but Microsoft and Adobe have put together a pact, essentially, to protect artists and their rights. And I forgot what it's called. I actually watched, there was a segment that was on CBS Sunday Morning that I had caught. And then I was following this for a bit, but it had fallen off my radar until we started talking about this a few minutes ago. It popped in my head where at the end of the day, when we see celebrity likeness, it becomes more of a threat to personal identity, to intellectual property. To me, this is going to become a way, way, way bigger issue where some of these AI companies will either get shut down. The technology, to be very clear, the technology is there, but where I personally, on a very personal level, where I think things are going to continue to expand is AI is here. AI is changing absolutely everything that we do. However, the in-person components of going to a stand-up comedy show, going to a concert, a live music concert, seeing the humility, the vulnerability, and where people aren't perfect, that's raw emotion. That's humanity.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
culture. So
I mean,
go ahead, please.
no. Finish what you're saying.
I'm finished. I can always jump
Okay.
back in.
I was just going to react to your mention of the word vulnerability. I think it's great. That actually there's a lot there because that's certainly one very like critical ingredient that AI lacks. And when there's no vulnerability, there is no emotional connection. And when there's no emotional connection, it's just not entertaining. It's not compelling content.
So, Myles, on that exact note, David Berkowitz, one of our colleagues, we about 9 months ago, we acquired David's communities that he had built for marketers: A, serial marketers; B, AI Marketers Guild. David was just published in the New York Times this morning. He went on a date with an AI avatar, and he was speaking.
So wild.
And this is just from reading it. I have not talked to David about it, but I'm sure I will either later or next week. The fact that he went on an AI avatar based date, call it like a Valentine's Day date, and when he was talking to the waiter or waitress, like there's no couth, there's no sense of like just the visual cues that happen. And I'm sure at some point there will be, but that's like what you get. The actual hot air, someone's breath, someone's antiperspirant, deodorant, like just the way that I'm saying it how it is. Their perfume, their cologne.
Let it all come out, Jeremy. Let it all come
aura.
out.
Like there's no aura to AI.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I do think that like kind of maybe back to like the movie topic, people are already starting to sell their personas to AI companies to create video. And I don't know, like I think one particular person, I want to say they were a I don't even I'm saying this. I think they were a Japanese influencer and they sold their persona for hundreds of thousands of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars in order for them to basically use their likeness for ads. My worry is that the whole allure of being an influencer or being a person or being a personality is now gone because they're just going to mass produce and just crank out so much content with your likeness. But I do think there's a huge opportunity on that front too. What does this mean for an aging celebrity? What does this mean for a kind of a nostalgic brand or identity from a prior movie or a prior show that you loved, to bring back the Terminator to run ads when Arnold was still Arnold is very different. So being able to reproduce that to create ads around it would be great. But I think long term, what Jeremy was saying, the touch, the emotion, the aura is gone. It's just pure digital, and I think that's going to lose some of its luster.
Vibes, bruh. Vibes.
The vibes. It's the vibes.
Well,
the vibes are gone.
Listen, let's talk
I'm
about
listening.
stuff happening IRL. Let's talk about Marketecture Media. Let's talk about Marketecture Live. Let's use that as our segue because I do want to talk to you guys
live.
a lot. Yeah, we're going. Yeah, I want to talk to you guys a lot about Marketecture Media for those of our listeners or viewers who are not familiar. Jeremy or Sam, which one of you wants to give the quick elevator pitch on Marketecture?
Marketecture overall, B2B media company, focused a lot around content, community, and knowledge sharing. It's kind of like our three pillars.
Events.
Marketecture Live, that would be more like community. Piece kind of falls. But then the event we're having is March 10th and 11th, happening in New York City at the Glass House. It's actually 1,000-person
Nice.
event. Beautiful venue. We picked the Glass House intentionally. It is bright. It is hip. It is an incredible location if you've ever attended anything there. But we're really focused around addressing what is changing today, which is the consumer gaining control. That's why I've named it Marketecture Live Consumers in Control. Great speakers, and I'll touch up on a few. I'm sure Jeremy has his favorites. Commissioner of the FTC, I think is super interesting. We have the CIO of Omnicom Media Group, which I think is great. We have Dentsu coming to speak. And then we have a TV Rev track, which is going to be focused on connected television. And then we have an Ad Week track, since they're also our partners across content, and some of the tracks there. But Jeremy, I'll let you talk about your faves coming up.
Yeah, we're stoked for this event. What we do is we bring authenticity to advertising, marketing, media, and tech. And frankly, all three of us being in the space for a long time, we wanted to change and flip the table, so to speak, flip the scripts on how B2B media has been run. And you need more voices, more opinions, and it needs to be more inclusive. So with that said, it's important in this day and age to bring people together, to commune, and to Sam lives in California, I live in Chicago, and to do something in New York where you're in Portland, Myles, and for folks to convene and commune at a centralized event in New York City, where even as a Chicagoan, I have to say it is the capital of all things advertising in media. I won't necessarily say marketing, but still advertising and media. And it's really relevant to us and to our audience of what we're building, because we're providing our roots started in ad tech, but as we scale up and we're partnering with great legacy companies like Adweek, that is the top of the food chain when it comes to advertising, and then TV Rev, which there's so much subject matter expertise on all things connected TV and commerce and streaming, and doing this with Jason D'Amata and Alan Wolk. And then we're also partnering with Variety. We're partnering with Whaler. We're partnering from an influencer perspective. We're partnering with MediaLink UTA. We've got, instead of having a bunch of the same talking heads that are at every single conference, we've got a Gen Z influencer that works at UTA that's going to be taught on stage talking. Yeah. And so what I'm most excited about, the CMO of Molson Coors, to me is super exciting when you think about having legacy brands like Blue Moon, Miller Lite, Coors Light. Additionally, having the CMO of the NFL. Here we just spent 10, 15 minutes talking about the Super Bowl. We have the CMO of the NFL. Additionally, Sam hit on some of the holding companies, but we also have folks from Publicis, from WPP. And on the indie side, we've got PMG, which is a fantastic, forward-thinking, innovative indie. We have Horizon Media. We have Stagwell. And then the amount of brands in this is also a fun one that when I texted my sister and even my daughter, who's 13, I had to explain a little bit to her. We have the CEO of Betches. Like, that's cool to have from what was considered very, very ad tech to now be more mainstream, where we're putting together the thinkers and doers in advertising. So brands like EA, Redfin, Samsung, PayPal, Bayer, Pfizer, Target. We're excited.
Yeah, and then Myles, I think the biggest part too that's pretty unique for Marketecture in comparison to anybody else is that we don't really bullshit. We don't really filter what we say. We say it in a respectful way, but we have pretty strong opinions. Like, these are not panels of four people patting each other on the back, saying how great they are. Like, because I know we've all been there, right? You sit down, you have four people sitting on a panel, and they're all saying like, "Oh, we love our partner to our left, and we love our partner to the right," and then everybody is fantastic here, and we're doing everything great. It's not like that here. Like, it is 100% like pretty sharp insights, pretty opinionated, and fact-based like comments. Like, we're looking 100% to like just be open and transparent about what is good and what is bad. That way you walk away with new ideas or not feeling like you're crazy because you're the only one who felt that way. And it helps.
I just want to add on to that. We have at least 1/3 of the audience are brands and agencies, but we also have publishers. We have ad tech companies. We have, it's 75 to 80%, somewhere in there, are VPs and above that attend our conferences. And so it genuinely are the thinkers and doers. And also, I want to give you a plug, Myles, the fact that you and Shiv and your team, we really love working with U of Digital. You guys are coming on. You guys are a part of part of what we're building. As Sam alluded earlier, because we go back and forth of content community events or content community knowledge sharing, all the same thing from a knowledge sharing perspective. U of Digital is really important from an enablement perspective, from an L&D side, and everything that you guys are doing with AI trainings. You guys partnering with having awesome AI experts like Tom Reardon and Liz Emery and so many other folks that you work with on a daily basis amongst your giant stable of experts. It says a lot to be able to we invited you guys to come and talk about the innovation that's taking place.
Yeah, for our listeners' edification, I will be there as well, along with Jeremy and Sam. U of Digital expert Tom Reardon and I are going to be presenting on agentic commerce. Going to try to do some sort of demo thing to make it come to life for people. We'll figure out the logistics on that. We will figure it out. So Shiv and I presented at what I think was your first live event in New York a year ago. So I believe it was March
this is our third one in under 365 days. But
that's a lot. That's a lot. But I was going to say that your team does a great job at fostering sort of an environment of intimacy. I had a great time. I was there for I can't remember if it was a 1 or 2 day event, but I was only there for a day. Yeah, okay. So I was there for that day, and it was fantastic. It was like being in a living room with all of these cool people from the industry, many of whom I knew and I was able to catch up with. So that was great. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, there's a You guys should share your promo code. We'll put it in the show notes, but like where should people go sign up? Because we want them to sign up and come say hi to us in person.
Okay, so you can sign up now just to be open. Advertisers, agencies and brands are free. It is complimentary. We do check. So if you're an ad tech company trying to be a brand, try again. You're going to have to buy a ticket. We do this every day. I'm probably clean up 30 a day of ad tech companies trying to slip through. It's incredible. So
Fast.
please, if you work at a DSP, you are not a brand. You're an ad tech company. General
Pay for
admission.
your damn ticket.
The ticket that we're going to create for you guys and your audience is U of D 30. That's all caps. That'll give you 30% off of general admissions. If you are a publisher, the rate's already reduced. Go check it out. You can go to marketecturelive.com, but we'll add it in the show notes as well for you to have it.
And
All right,
the other
awesome.
thing that is going to get people excited, we've got great food. This isn't dry chicken and
Oh, yeah.
we've got momofuku. We have Russ and Daughters. Like we're getting high-end, amazing catering and bringing in some of New York's finest because we appreciate those that are hopping on a plane to build their own knowledge and network, and those that are commuting, whether they live in Manhattan or if they're commuting from New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, wherever they're coming in from. We want this to be an elegant, awesome opportunity for people to really immerse themselves with everything. From a sports media side too, we have several professional athletes that are going to be on stage that are involved with some very cool, innovative tech. This is all about how consumers are in control when it comes to whether it's wearing my Oura ring, if it's how they're streaming, getting content creators on stage. Please. I can keep on going for like 5 hours about how excited I am for this event.
For what it's worth, and I would love to hear a little bit more about this. I love the fact that you framed your event around consumers because a lot of industry events, trade events, start from the other side. They start from, oh, here's the technology and let's work ourselves forward. And then honestly, we're never even going to mention everyday people. We're just going to kind of overwhelm you with slideware. Boxes connected with lines, connected to cylinders, connected to other boxes with more lines. Whereas you're framing it completely differently. You're framing it from consumer first. How did you land on that? Like, what was the inspiration behind that? Tell me about it.
I can touch up on that a little bit. I think if you look at the past, let's say 12 to 18 months across just the globe, consumers consistently have been transitioning into first being talked to during a broadcast type of era back in the day to a lot of personalization. And now we're moving into a consumer having control. And the idea is that what was a behavior, going to Google, going to a search engine and looking for the item that you're looking for and using one or multiple platforms to find it, the consumer's more in control now where they can dictate where they watch, how they search, how they research, how they produce. Everything is now in the consumer's control. And that is not necessarily something that an advertiser can change, but it is absolutely something that an advertiser should address and learn how to change their campaigns and how to target them the right way. So rather than talking top, and I want to say top down from advertiser to consumer, we're going the opposite way. We want to focus on the consumer at the top, and everybody is on the bottom of the food chain when it comes to reaching that consumer.
Think about it like this too. There's a really good explanation, Sam. If you think about it too, Myles and those listening, consumers are genuinely those that are in control. It's our dollars that dictate how we spend, dictates
Yeah.
the technology that engineers and products create, that sellers sell, that VCs give money towards. And so the other component too that I don't think we're paying enough attention to is like we have the commissioner from the FTC. Well, let's think about tariffs that took place on a macroeconomic way globally. Let's talk about the political ecosystem of what's taking place where if there's there's a multi-billionaire class, and how do you then, consumers are absolutely in control, because sure, we can go out and people can march, they can vote, they can do whatever that makes them feel good. But at the end of the day, when they boycott a specific or unsubscribe from a specific service, whether it's a publication, a TV provider, an MVPD, like what Scott Galloway's been talking about for the month of February, for those not listening, like, hey, you want to make a change, you want to make a dent, you want to make an impact, you can change a percentage or 2% of someone's bottom line if X amount of hundreds of thousands of subscribers all unsubscribe from product X, product Y, product Z. That says a lot about how much all of us are in control. And we also, every way that we engage with content is changing tremendously. I don't sit down at night and turn on Colbert how I may have 3 years ago. I am on my phone doing something else. I'm scrolling on Instagram in between calls for 2 minutes because I want to give my brain a break, so to speak, like most people. And we're all engaging in consuming and buying different products and creating different business alliances in a different way than we have in history.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a statistic that there's a deck that gets put out every year. I can't remember the name of the company, but they have a great slide of
Is the Mary Meeker one?
No, it's not. I can't remember the name of the company that puts it out, but it's like at this point it's a 200 or 300 slide deck. But they have a great graphic of how many hours of media the average person consumes in a day with multitasking, and it's into the 30s. Like we're all consuming 30 whatever 6 hours of media a day. With that my segue here is going to end this episode and say I want to give our listeners a chance to get back to their remaining 35 hours of media that they need to consume today. And thanks for listening. I don't know, Jeremy, Sam, any final parting thoughts?
No, I mean, thank you for having us. If you are interested in attending Marketecture Live, I am more than available. Feel free to message me. Feel free to email me on LinkedIn or via email. I'm here to address any questions you have. But truly, we think you're going to love the event, and we think you're going to find the content to be very insightful and not sales pitchy. It will be content of value, not content of selling you an ad solution.
And I will endorse that. Jeremy, anything to add?
We appreciate what you and your team at U of Digital are doing. Yeah. Knowledge is power. The more you are at the epicenter and front and center both at the same time, helping teams within tech, marketing, and advertising understand that change is here, change is coming, and trying to help them get ahead is something that's really important. Both my parents were teachers. I love continuously learning and reading, as you can see from a lot of books behind, but also, as you mentioned earlier, Myles, all three of us are very dialed in online. Like I'm spending. Thank you for doing what you do. Thanks for having us. And we're excited to see a lot of you at Marketecture Live.
Yes, I am excited to be there. Listeners, viewers, please attend and come say hi to me, to Jeremy, to Sam, to everybody. But yeah, Marketecture Live, New York, March 10th and 11th. Get your tickets. U of Digital AI Accelerator. Go check that out. Get your tickets for that AI bootcamp. If you can't attend Marketecture Live in person, we got a virtual accelerator for you. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun.
It was.
Thanks
very much, Myles. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right.